Well, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to another video. And yep, we're still working on this. Granted, it's much more tore down than how it used to be. The last few days, we've just been simply working on our electrical stuff for the tractors. We've been working on the electrical routing for the compressor up to the tractor to give it power for it. We've also been able to mount our control box up in the cab. We also, or I did, ended up putting the 4 new cylinders up on here. Like I was talking about in the last video before. I would have filmed that, but it was kind of a slow going. I would have filmed actually all this, but it all occurred like over one step at a time every day. So it wouldn't have been that good of a video. Anyway, I figured I'm probably gonna get, people probably have asked who watched, well, the last video, why, like how I titled it the way that I did, stuff like that. I'm sure plenty of you guys probably assume, even just by the title and not even me having to say it, this whole system is expensive. I'm not going to say the price, but it's well pretty good into the quadruple digits. So, and again, this is something that we might not really need. This might not be something that we actually like really desire or need to have. Well, it's something we desire, but it's not really something that we need to have. We have it because it'll save us so much more time than having to fiddle around with a wrench, how we'd have to do before with all these 12. Every time we had to adjust it, we had to change it with a wrench and adjust the height on that, make sure they're all the same. With this now, you just turn a lever, all 12 of them adjust at the same time, and you can even have downforce on them, so if you have a crust that you gotta work through, you can work right through that. And so it's just gonna be great. It'll just be fantastic. Okay, so it's the next day, and I'm talking really close to the mic so that you guys can hopefully hear me. But it's been 2 days since that last clip that you guys had seen, and well, we've done a lot more than I thought we were going to in the last 2 days. Like I was saying, we got a lot more done in these last 2 days than I thought we were ever going to get done. It's pretty much done now. Like this, I pretty much spared you guys on everything. Besides, actually, well, no, I didn't even film like setting it up. So I guess I didn't even do that. I never showed you guys the inside of the cab of this because, well, I never really filmed any of setting up the cab, or I never filmed any of that. Ooh. So here is the control box. So it's the standard precision planning control box. So these 3 gauges, they all run off of air PSI. So this is your lift pressure, so how much pressure it takes to lift up those row cleaners, the actual just wheels themselves. Your tank pressure, which is just how much pressure builds up in the tank, and then your down pressure. So if you run it this way, that needle is going to be going up. So right now we'll run them completely at neutral. This is neutral, so it just completely closes the valve. No air goes from the tank to the row cleaners. It just builds all up in the tank, and nothing ever happens for it. Okay. I open up these doors so maybe see a little better in here, but we got that compressor running. Still got that compressor running, but I'm gonna mount you guys just right up under here, so you can see the vast majority of them. That's pretty cool, wasn't it? So that's just how all this is going. So this is all good. Now we got to try to do a test fold, which we think we should be okay because we routed these wires, I'm not kidding you, as clean as you could possibly get it, and we ran them so these lines are all running exactly with the rest of the hydraulic lines, and they all got the same slack in them as the rest of the other hydraulic lines do. So I don't know why it wouldn't work, but knowing our luck, something's not gonna work. This is not a cheap system at all, and some of the reasons why we did this is, for one, convenience. Two, to save us a lot more time than just having to sit here with a wrench for each one and raise it to a certain point. If there's for whatever reason, like a crust or something, they got to break through a down pressure, this thing's got the down pressure for it. The simplicity of it, all you got to do is turn a knob or a handle. All you got to do is turn a handle. That's it, to raise all these in 15 seconds instead of spending 15-20 minutes doing all these like what we've had to do in the past before. So obviously, I've said it before, this is the compressor. This is where it makes all the air for the actual cylinders to go off of. The compressor creates the pressure. The pressure comes out of a hose that is mounted into right here, which is actually this little brown hose right there, and it runs all the way up to the cab, and it goes through that bottom window right where all those other hoses and cables go out for the rest of the planter, and then that goes up into the control box up here. So here's still that main brown hose, goes up into here, and I can't show you guys that part, but it's plugged right up into the bottom of this. That is the only hose that's really connected to anything. So how it works is that hose comes up, that's where all the tank pressure comes out of, and this takes that tank pressure and disperses it throughout the rest of the planter. So you got your red and black hoses here, which one of these is down pressure, one of these is up pressure, or lift pressure, which is what routes through all those. So really, the air is really only coming up through here. And then you turn that valve, and the air that's flowing through the brown hose from the compressor gets dispersed through here. So here's the red and black wire right here. They're fed through this drawbar, come out right there. See where they both tee off? I'll maybe zoom in on if you can't see it. They both tee off, and they just start teeing. Now we'll, I think, probably cut to when we go to test fold it, because hopefully nothing bad happens, but I'm sure you cruel internet people probably hope something bad's gonna happen. See if it starts even. Oh no. Uh-oh. I knew it was coming. Okay, well, let's go get a battery charger. Okay, so it's been a few hours. As you can tell, it's not quite as bright out as it was anymore. We got the battery charger hooked up about 2.5 hours ago, and I think we're gonna go see if it starts or not. So this is the real test, and see if it runs or not. I am so cruel to these guys. Now we gotta do the test fold that I was talking about earlier. Kind of just slowly start, stop. Make sure nothing's gonna get pinched. That's the whole point of us trying to do this, is so that that doesn't happen when we're out in the field and stuff like that, I suppose. Are you ready for tomorrow? Tomorrow's supposed to be the big day. The first day that seeds are supposed to be going in the ground.
That'd be a good thing you're not around.
Yeah. What you should do is you should bring these people along so you can film.
I should.
I'll show you how to use it. You can. Did I scare you with the starting problem?
Yes. We worried about that one. But you didn't have it in neutral.
You know, I made it a joke to these people. I did. Come to find out, the little piece of it was actually not in neutral, and completely shut the system off so it would start. And I thought the batteries were dead, and apparently the batteries were kind of dead because the needle on the battery charger kind of went up. That's usually an indicator that the batteries were low, which makes sense because we had it on running the compressor without it running. I think I've had enough of the camera for tonight, so it's either we'll cut to tomorrow evening or Sunday morning. Well, welcome back, guys. Actually, more so, we're just welcome back to the next day, and also just you're back to me again. Dad didn't really film a whole lot, but I don't really blame the guy because he had a lot of stuff going on, and I was gonna film him when I first got into the tractor with him, just to ride with him for a little bit, but the moods weren't very high in that tractor cab anyway for him, and so I just didn't even bother to even touch the camera at all. But all you got was a time lapse, but I think the more you see him, the more and more you're gonna get out of him, but just not for today. We're just on a nice little dry run right now, and on Tuesday, it's currently Saturday right now. On Tuesday, or Monday night, it's supposed to start raining, and that's pretty much the whole forecast for next week. We won't be doing much next week. I'm sure there'll probably be something that we're gonna end up doing next week anyway, outside of planting, so that just won't be a planting video. But we gotta go work ground now. But first off, what we gotta do is we gotta go down to where Dad burnt those brush piles that I was talking about in a couple videos ago, where he's burning some old tree piles that be on a tree line fence that we cleared out in quite a few videos ago now. And he burned them, cleaned up all the ashes now, so now it's just I never worked that when I worked that piece, so I just didn't even touch it. Now, since all the ashes and stuff are moved away, we are able to use it. It's just a little bit scorched up in here. It's pretty hard up in here, I'll admit that. Trying to stay straight and how my. Okay. I think 2 jugs is all we need. So, anyway. Hey, look, there's Dad. Look at him. Go get him, Dad. I'm currently trying to go like 8-ish miles an hour roughly. But I'm just kind of trying to look out. I'm trying to see what it's doing right now. I'm not too sure exactly if it's doing a worse job or a better. The only thing I can think of is doing a 7-mile-an-hour run and then an 8-mile-an-hour run. But it is also running up more, like almost deeper ground really than what the 7-mile-an-hour stuff is doing. It's just really dry. Like it is, I think it's just quite literally really, really dry. But I mean, it's still doing a good job. I mean, it's leveling it out much better than what it was when I ripped it last fall. See what I'm talking about when I say I can't see anything? See, where did it go? There it is. So I'm starting to kind of close off with getting done with this field. I'm starting to do the second border line of the field that you just go out right on that outer edge of it. And this whole this whole area on this side of the train tracks used to just be all trees. It started right about where it starts sloping down. I don't know if the camera can even pick up where it's sloping down, but it starts sloping down. That's right where the tree started. It came all the way down and all the way to the other end of the field. That's like 1/3 of a mile, maybe probably a little bit more. I don't think it's quite a half a mile, but it was trees all the way through here. We did this early on last spring, and we were cutting it pretty close because, I'm not kidding, I was working the field right across the road while they were just finishing up working on this dam. So obviously it looks so much better. The problem is though is that, for one, you got clay spots all around the field because that's where all of the big piles were of timber and brush there was. We're done. I did pick you guys up when I was done with it, but when I was done with the field. But anyway, yeah, if you guys can hear, the dogs are going pretty ecstatic right now. This is the first planting video technically, just kind of like a wrap up on the clean sweep system and just the first day, first few kinks of planting. You're always gonna have those, but I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you guys stay tuned because more videos like these are coming, but they'll be better. See you guys.